October 30th, 2025 Select Budget Committee will come back to order. The time is 1:30 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Solomon.
Who?
Councilmember Solomon.
Here.
Councilmember Hollingsworth. Councilmember Juarez.
Here.
Councilmember Kettle.
Here.
Council President Nelson. Councilmember Rink.
Present.
Councilmember DeVetta.
Present.
Councilmember Saka.
Here.
And Chair Strauss.
Here.
7 present.
Thank you. We are coming back to order. We are on Amendment SPD 106 with 7 amendments remaining, 20% of today's agenda. So these next 7 items are important topics that may take a lot of time. At this time, please be prepared to be here until 5 p.m. With that, over to you, Mr. Doss, SPD 106.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SPD 106 would increase SPD appropriations by $50,000 general fund to support a 30 by 30 work group. This would also proviso $225,000 of general fund funds for a 30 by 30 coordinator position that the department, that the council added to the department last year. A couple things to note with this. This will evolve into a place where it will add an actual position. Right now, it's just provisoing funding. Central staff learned that the position is going to sunset at the end of this year, so we'll be adding a position here. Another thing to note is that after the CBAs were already in production, it sounds as though there was a change made, and so that was something that was articulated, but we couldn't get in at the last minute, so I'll leave that up to the sponsor to discuss. It's sponsored by Councilmember Rivera, Councilmember Saka, and Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you, and Councilmember Hollingsworth is present with us. Councilmember Rivera, sponsor the amendment. You are recognized.
Thank you. So thank you, Greg, for that description. First, I want to thank and uplift my colleagues, Councilmember Saka and Councilmember Kettle for their strong support of the 30 by 30 initiative. They have been, along with their colleagues, the women that serve, that are lucky to serve on this council, so supportive of the 30 by 30 initiative. And I really, for one, respect and highly value their commitment to this 30 by 30 effort. So we have great champions on this. And I think this was another one of those where everyone or many people want it to be prime sponsors of, because we believe in this so deeply. So I wanted to lift up both council members and just say that in general. I want to reiterate what Greg said, which is this is a proviso, and the change is that the 50 is also a proviso. So this is provisoing 275 of the SPD budget to do the work. This was we put in last year. This is another one of those that we had put in last year. No one was hired for the position. It for this year's budget came up and did not make the cut or did get cut. And so we're reinstating this because this is a really critical piece to SPD. We all know that we need to support more women in the force for many reasons, not the least of which is we know when we have female officers, we know we often have really great outcomes. Not to say that we not to say we can't have outcomes with non-female officers, but we know that it makes a difference. And also, it's really important to ensure that the department reflects the community. So this is not just the 30 by 30, but all community members. And also I've had conversations with the chief as well about their DEI position and the importance of that. So wanted to underscore that as well. So for this particular effort, we want to make sure that this position is hired, that it is ongoing, and then they have a small amount of money to be able to do some of this work for the group who's working at SPD on this effort to do this work. And by group, I mean the current employees who care about this and are coming together to support the effort. It's not that there's a group of people doing the work there. There is no one actually tasked to do the work. That's why we're putting this position, so there is a dedicated FTE to do this really important work. So colleagues, that is what this position is doing, is reinstating this really important work. I will say I've had a chance to have a conversation with Chief Barnes since we were working on this amendment. And he's very supportive of the 30 by 30 program. He has seen success with the program where he's coming from in Madison, Wisconsin, where they have 28% of their police force are women. So this is something that I know and he is newer to the department. So I know it's something that he wants to be a good partner on, and I look forward to working with him and others at the department and with you all colleagues to make sure that we are realizing these 30 by 30 effort. Because this is not, and it shouldn't be, an afterthought, or this is not a nice to have, this is a must have. And with this, and we're saying it so because now for the second year in a row, and some of us are only in our second year in office, we are saying this is a must-have. So, colleagues, that is what this ad is, and I hope that, and I know I've spoken separately with you, some of you who also support this, so I hope that you will continue to support this effort.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. Colleagues, questions, discussion? Additional discussion? Seeing as we have no additional discussion, Councilmember Saka.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank Councilmember Rivera for your leadership in bringing this forward as the prime sponsor. You've been a consummate champion and consistent leader in this space, and especially given the underlying issue at hand. Reports of culture that is inhospitable and outrageous and not a good place to be for women. And I'm so glad that this is a woman-led effort on the council. And also just want to uplift and amplify. I think my understanding is there is some work going on within the department today to address the various issues associated with 30 by 30. I think the challenge is it's not focused on one person in terms of that 30 by 30 being their sole remit. You know, someone over here has this 30 by 30 along with other things, and someone over here has 30 by 30 bits along with other things, and you know, like, so the whole goal is to amplify and uplift the existing work there, and make sure that this isn't sort of an ancillary responsibility. And you know, we're empowering them to hire a leader to kind of coordinate all the work. In any event, thank you for your leadership in this.
Thank you. Councilmember Rivera? And I'm going to just say, I'll give you last word since it's your amendment, so I'm just going to take one more check to see if anyone else would like to say anything. Councilmember Juarez? No? Down here? No further discussion? Councilmember Rivera, you have last word, and then we'll call for co-sponsors.
Thank you, and thank you for your words, Councilmember Saka. I actually, I should have and wanted to and intended to uplift the voices of the women who are currently in the police department who have been working with us on this effort and who really have been doing the work even during their lunchtime, to really come together and have conversations about how to best support this effort in the department that they work in. And that is one conversation I also had with Chief Barnes, is how do we, you know, this culture piece, addressing the culture so that women do want to apply for these jobs. So all of that is necessary, and having a dedicated position to work with the great women that are trying to do this within their current roles at SPD is really critical. So thank you to the women at SPD who came to us last year and who have been the champions of this type of position, dedicated position at SPD, to help them do the work in a very focused, full-time way. So thank you, women at SPD. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you. With that, if you'd like to co-sponsor SPD 106, please raise your hand now. All right, Councilmember Juarez, Hollingsworth, Solomon.
Councilmembers Juarez, Solomon, and Hollingsworth.
Are co-sponsoring SPD 106. We'll move on to SPD 107.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SPD 107 would proviso $26 million in general fund funding for SPD for new staffing. Background on this, there was $26 million added to the proposed budget to accommodate 86 new hires on the police force. This proviso would restrict that money so that it may only be spent to support sworn officers under that new hiring initiative.
Thank you.
It's sponsored by Councilmember Kettle, Councilmember Solomon, and Councilmember Strauss.
Thank you. Councilmember Kettle is sponsoring the amendment. You are recognized.
Thank you, Chair Strauss. Thank you, Mr. Doss, for the summary. Colleagues, this is all about good governance, and it's important given our oversight responsibilities of the executive, and given the dollar amounts, this is a large amount of money, and also as part of our budget responsibilities. It builds on our proviso from last year on SPD salaries. Some were surprised when I pushed and we pushed this forward, and for me personally, this is what I saw in Congress, in my last year when I was a legislative liaison to Congress. We had to ask for permission to reprogram money. So this is really in keeping with that kind of concept, and it's really important for this to happen and to have this oversight, again, because of the big dollar amounts, to ensure that we can do our job as well. And so, colleagues, I ask for your support for this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, discussion. Questions? Comments? Seeing no further discussion, questions, or comments, we will, if you would like to co-sponsor SPD 107, please raise your hand now. I have Councilmember Juarez. I have Councilmembers Juarez, Rivera, and Saka
Councilmembers Juarez, Rivera, and Saka.
on SPD 107. We'll now move on to SPD 108.
SPD 108A is a proviso again, this time of $4.9 million general fund and SPD for the Technology Assisted Crime Prevention Program. As you all are aware, there was funding added both in the 2024 budget and in the 2025 and 2026 budgets for the Technology Assisted Crime Prevention Program that coordinates the CCTV activities and the real-time crime center activities. This is an amount of funding, $4.9 million, that would be used for the cameras and also for staffing of the RTCC. This would ensure that that funding may only be spent for those purposes. It's brought to you by Councilmember Kettle, Councilmember Solomon, and Councilmember Strauss.
Thank you. Councilmember Kettle is sponsoring the amendment. You are recognized.
Thank you, Chair Strauss, and again, Mr. Doss. And I can almost say ditto. Ditto on the need for good governance. Ditto given our oversight responsibilities. And again, lower than the previous one, but still a major amount of money given the dollar amounts and our budget responsibilities. This is an important topic, and we need to be doing our jobs for this. It's so important that after the passage of the legislation, I spoke to Captain Britt at the Real-Time Crime Center. I spoke to Chief Barnes. I spoke to Chief Public Safety Officer Walton Anderson. I spoke to Deputy Mayor Burgess, and I spoke to Mayor Harrell about the need to do this program right, to ensure that T's are crossed and I's are dotted. So this budget action, this CBA, is submitted in order to allow us to do our responsibilities and to make sure that we cross T's and dot I's as well. And with that, colleagues, I ask for your support for this amendment.
Thank you. Colleagues, questions? Discussion? Comments? Colleagues, if you would like to co-sponsor SPD 108, please raise your hand at this time. Councilmember Rivera adding her name to SPD 108.
Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you. Moving on to SPD 109.
SPD 109S is a statement of legislative intent that requests SPD to provide quarterly reports on staffing, overtime, and performance metrics. This is the quarterly report that comes to central staff and allows central staff to prepare the budget and staffing update that happens at mid-year and in the summer. It is sponsored by Councilmember Kettle, Councilmember Solomon, and Councilmember Strauss.
Thank you. Councilmember Kettle, as sponsor of the amendment, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair Strauss, and again, Mr. Doss and colleagues. I recognize today my name is either sponsor or co-sponsor on nearly all of these budget actions of one sort or another. This one, again, in keeping with the theme, is to work with central staff so then we can do our jobs in terms of our oversight responsibilities. And important here is, in terms of a new piece, was overtime. As we're bringing on our officers, the salaries, the overtime, that delicate balance, we need to be having great insight as we go through the year to ensure that we have that understanding of where we are budget-wise and how those different pieces are relating to each other. It's really important for us to maintain that oversight. And with that, colleagues, I ask for your support and hope that you can co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, discussion on SPD 109. Questions? Comments? If you would like to co-sponsor SPD 109, please raise your hand at this time. We have Councilmembers Saka, Rivera, Rink, and Hollingsworth.
Councilmembers Saka, Rivera, Rink, and Hollingsworth.
Thank you. Moving on to SPD 110.
SPD 110S is a request that SPD report on implementation of a customer service line. And as you would see in the slide request, there are a number of items that the department would report on, everything from taking a look at those things that are normally reported through the customer service line and potentially moving them to an independent customer service line at SPD, as well as evaluating the scope of a project to do so and the financial support that would be required to do it. It is brought to you by Councilmember Hollingsworth, co-sponsored by Councilmember Solomon and Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you. Councilmember Hollingsworth, as sponsor of the amendment, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Mr. Doss, for that overview. My intent and goal of this study is to just develop a line of service for customer service in order for us to help people figure out how to get the information they need and navigate on the many reporting systems to follow up on their concerns. Oftentimes, I find my office being that, which I don't mind because I'm the service. I am in service to the people in our district. But in particular, I would like to understand SPD's existing service tools and resources we have in place today that we can enhance and update for better coordination and efficiency. So this is so people can be able to get a response of, it might be, excuse me, it might be a follow-up on a police report or something that happened in their neighborhood. And I know that right now, if the balance between officers and the amount of people that we had in our city as we're growing, when we can balance that out, we're working towards that. But until then, I think we need to have a stopgap so people can be able to get the outcomes and service that they deserve in our city. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Can I just thank... I apologize. Can I just thank Kettle and Solomon for their co-sponsorship? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Hollingsworth. Colleagues, discussion? I see Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you, Chair Strauss. Thank you, Councilmember Hollingsworth, for bringing this forward. This is something that we've talked about many times. I've talked about the need for the precincts to have their front door open and have a desk that can respond to inquiries. And a lot of this can go a long way in terms of the relationship with the neighborhoods, with our colleagues, our neighbors here in the city, and really take care of things at the lower level, and to basically show that there's that interest, there's that care, which they do have, but it makes it hard. Like when you go to the West Precinct now, you can't. There's nobody there behind the glass. You have to coordinate in order to go in. So I appreciate Councilmembers Hollingsworth because it goes to that same thing. It's about creating that dialogue between community and the police department. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. Colleagues, other discussion? Questions? Comments? With that, if you would like to co-sponsor SPD 110, please raise your hand at this time. Councilmember Juarez, Rink, Saka, Rivera.
Councilmembers Juarez, Rink, Saka, and Rivera.
Thank you. We will move on to SPD 111.
SPD 111S is a statement of legislative intent on federal immigration enforcement policies. This particular slide would request that the Seattle Police Department provide a report to the public safety on the implementation plan for Executive Order 25-07, which was Seattle's response to potential National Guard deployment, and Executive Order 2508, which is strengthening Seattle's response to federal threats to immigration and refugee communities. This is a slide that makes several requests for implementation and operational aspects of these executive orders, and it is brought to you by Councilmember Rink, Councilmember Strauss, and Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you. Councilmember Rink, as sponsor of the amendment, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, I know I can't be alone when I say I hear from constituents almost every day about what is our city's response to the actions by this federal administration. And over the past year, we have seen cities across the United States deal with the deployment of National Guard against their own people. It is essential that we have a plan and that the public know that we have a plan. So this slide requests that SPD provide a report to the Public Safety Committee, and that outlines policies on how SPD officers on the ground will react to federal law enforcement during circumstances of ICE officers using excessive force, individuals impersonating federal law enforcement, and how SPD plans on addressing traffic safety and crowd control as it pertains to peacekeeping activities, as well as it asks the department to describe how accountability partners participated in the development of the policy and broader alignment with the accountability ordinance. I want to thank Councilmember Strauss and Public Safety Chair Councilmember Kettle for their co-sponsorship on this. We need to ensure that our city is prepared and that our constituents get answers to the questions that have been causing fear for months in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rink. Colleagues, further discussion? Councilmember Kettle.
Thank you, Chair Strauss. I want to thank Councilmember Rink for bringing this amendment forward. Definitely, we need to have this engagement. You know, I had a meeting with the executive in the summer talking about the need to have contingency planning on this very front to ensure that, you know, from a standard operating procedure point of view, we walk through the different scenarios. We're ready to go. And I know over the course of this fall that the executive is working it, but we do need to have that kind of dialogue in committee and to work through the different pieces and do so in a way that, you know, again, highlights that we're a city, a West Coast Blue city that is run well, as Councilmember Hollingsworth said, I think yesterday or the day before, and that's getting things done and doing it well. And this also applies to the realm of public safety, and we will do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. Colleagues, further discussion? If you would like to co-sponsor SPD 111, please raise your hand at this time. I have Councilmembers Juarez, Saka, Solomon, Hollingsworth, Rivera.
Councilmembers Juarez, Saka, Solomon. I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Hollingsworth and Rivera.
Hollingsworth and Rivera.
Thank you. Moving on to, shall I say, the final item, Office of Inspector General. We have OIG 101.
Yes, OIG 101 would add $50,000 to the Office of Inspector General to move a community engagement position from a half-time position to a full-time position. It is brought to you by Councilmembers Kettle, Councilmember Strauss, and Councilmember Rink.
Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. You are recognized as the sponsor.
Thank you, Chair Strauss, and I want to thank you as well for your co-sponsorship of this one. And might I add the three previous ones that we just recently went over, and along those lines, Councilmember Solomon as well, and on this one, Councilmember Rink. Thank you for your co-sponsorship. You know, it's about ensuring that everything is functional and things are working well. And that's really important when it comes to our accountability partners. With the tentative agreement with the Seattle Police Officers Guild, there's different pieces in there that relate to Office of Police Accountability, which I think are going to improve the OPA and improve accountability in a very strong, meaningful way. We've done some pieces with the Community Police Commission as well. And here with the Officer Inspector General, it's really important that they also have the ability to engage and communicate with community. And to be frank, a 0.5 FTE wasn't enough, and we needed a full-time coordinator position to be basically making that work done for the OIG. So I ask for your support for this amendment.
Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. Colleagues, further discussion? Questions? Comments? If you'd like to sign on to OIG 101, please raise your hand at this time. Councilmembers Solomon and Riveras.
Councilmembers Solomon and Rivera.
Thank you. And that does bring us to the end of the agenda. I guess I should predict that we'll be here 3 hours longer than in actuality more often. I think it keeps us moving quickly. This does conclude the Wednesday, October 30th, 2025 Select Budget Committee meeting. Is there any further business before we adjourn? Seeing no further business, we will meet on Wednesday, November 5th at 9:30 a.m. to brief and discuss my balancing package. At that meeting, we will accept written public comment. We will have a public hearing on November 6th. Remote public comment will begin at 1 p.m. In-person public comment will begin at 5 p.m. Each individual will receive 1 minute 30 seconds, or groups of 3 or more will receive 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Individuals can only speak once, either in the virtual or in person, or as an individual or as a group. One bite at the apple. Thank you all for your grace as we did not follow the predicted framework of this morning's public comment, but I think that it met the spirit of our public comment in a good way. With that, colleagues, thank you for attending. We are adjourned.